Hey, this is attorney Elizabeth Potts-Weinstein, and today we're going to talk about, do you need a California seller's permit? So what is a California seller's permit? You might also have heard this called a sales tax permit. This is what you have to file in California if you are responsible for taking the sales taxes paid for by the people who buy your stuff and giving it to the state of California, as well as filing sales tax forms with them. Now, if you have a seller's permit or a sales tax permit, you also have the ability to buy goods at wholesale if you are going to resell them or incorporate them into your product somehow. That's a resale certificate. You wouldn't get a seller's permit or a sales tax permit just to get that certificate to buy things at wholesale, because you can only really buy things at wholesale if you are going to sell them at retail. California is going to get their sales taxes one way or the other. But that's one of the nice side effects of getting a seller's permit. So who needs a seller's permit in California? And by the way, this is just about California law because this law is different in every single state. You need to get a seller's permit if you are engaged in business in California selling tangible personal property. So let's break down what each of those mean. If you are engaged in business, means that you're selling something, and it doesn't just mean you're selling one thing one time. So there is a special exception in this rule that you have to make 3 sales within 12 months. If you have one item of clothing that you resell on eBay, that's just one thing. Once you have 3 things in a year, 3 garage sales, 3 things you sell on Facebook Marketplace, whatever it is, technically you are engaged in business. In California, what does in California mean? Well, if you're physically in California and you sell a product to someone physically in California, they take it from you here, you're in business in California. Now, the issue tends to come up with if you're doing business over the internet. When does it count if you're doing business in California? Well, you have to have Nexus to California. Primarily, Nexus is going to be some physical connection with California. So it's not just the owner living there, and it's not just you like having a bank account there. It's things like the employees are there, or one employee there is there, you have a sales rep there, you ship your products from California, you have a warehouse that you're using in California. There has to be some physical tie to the state of California that means that you are responsible to do filings there. The other kind of nexus is called economic nexus. In California, that threshold is $500,000. So even if you're located in some other state, if you do $500,000 of sales in California, then you have economic nexus, even if you're not physically located here. So what does tangible personal property mean? In this, you are selling or leasing, renting, tangible personal property. So it has to be tangible and it has to be personal property. Let's start with the last part. Personal property means not real property. Real property is land. When you sell land, that's real property and that doesn't count under here. Personal property is everything that's not land, pretty much. Stocks don't count in that, but generally if you're selling this pen, it's personal property. If you're selling a car, it's personal property. If you're selling this camera, it's personal property. What does tangible mean though? Now, part of what tangible is like it's a physical thing, okay? But there's another way that you can be selling tangible personal property that may not be obvious to you. And that is certain ways you deliver electronic goods. So ebooks, you're a graphic designer and you create files of a logo for someone, some kind of electronic personal property, some files that you're going to send to somebody. If you just email it to them, if you upload it to some cloud service and they download it, that's not tangible personal property. It's personal property, but not tangible. However, if you save it on a USB flash drive and you send it by messenger or drop it off or mail it to your customer, it is now tangible personal property, because even though it's an electronic document, it is on that fob. There's a thing involved. So it's now tangible personal property. So what is not included here? What's not included are services. Legal advice, for example, consulting, that's not included here. If you're repairing a product, it's not included in California. If you're installing a product, it's not included. But watch out for when you're combining things. So let's say you sell something to somebody that you're going to install. So you have to pay sales taxes or remit sales taxes for the product part of the invoice, but for the services of the installation services, you don't have to do sales tax on. So in that case, you're going to have two different parts to your invoice for that customer, the part that is subject to sales taxes and the part that is not. The fourth aspect that's really important here is, when is someone else responsible for dealing with the sales tax stuff? If you do all of your sales on a marketplace facilitator website, so Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, those are some of the big ones, and all the sales go through them, then they're going to handle the sales tax stuff, is the short answer. Now, as soon as you start making sales also on your own website, you got to do those sales yourself. But if everything happens on one of these big marketplace facilitator sites, then they're going to handle it for you and you don't have to worry about it. So bottom line is, if you are engaged in business, you're going to make 3 or more sales in the state of California 1 year. In California, or have some physical tie to California, or $500,000 of sales, and you're selling tangible personal products, you're going to need to register for a seller's permit in California. Again, this is attorney Elizabeth Potts Weinstein. If you have any questions about whether or not you need a seller's permit, a sales tax permit, go ahead and ask them below and I'll try to point you in the right direction. Thumbs up if you found this video helpful, subscribe if you'd like more tips like this, and look into joining if you'd like to support this channel. Thanks a lot for watching.